Yes, welcome back to the top of the hour. Show ni Heavenly Praises na station ni Mwangaza TV. Karibu tena na wimbo wake Evelyn Wanjiru ndo unatuleta top of the hour ambao tunaingia kwenye neno letu la leo. Na pia wale ambao wana tune in, thank you so much. Na pia wale ambao wanatujoin kwa saa hizi, karibuni sana. Yes, naona my mom from Umoja 3. Rachel is watching and anasema ko tune in, and my mom also is from Kasale, Kajiado County, is also tune in. Karibuni sana, Mungu awabariki sana. And to our word for today, tumesema topic yetu ya leo ni managing money God's way. Yes, managing money God's way. Na word yetu inatoka kwenye kitabu Luke 16:10 to 11. Luke 16:10 to 11, it says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you have not been trustworthy handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? That is our word for today from the book of Luke 16:10 to 11. So that word reminds us of faithfulness with money. So it shows when you're faithful with money, it also shows the maturity. It shows how mature you are, and also it determines on how God will entrust you with more. Ile kidogo uko nayo, there's little you have, you become faithful. It will also it will determine how God will entrust you with more money. Ukipatiwa kidogo unajua kutumia, pia unapanga nayo. Pia Mungu akikupatia kubwa mingi atajua utakuwa mtu responsible. So and to our first point for today from our topic, main teachings are from the first point is God owns everything and we are the managers. God owns everything and we are the managers. This comes from the book of Psalms 24:1. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. That is Psalms 24:1, which gives us the first point on managing money God's way is God owns everything we are and we are the managers. Inamaanisha that everything that we have, kila kitu tu, vile word imesema, everything that is in this world, it is for the Lord and everything in it. Yani dunia yote ni ya Mungu na kila kitu iko chini yake ama iko ndani yake. So whatever you have, the money, hii pesa tunatafuta kila mtu, hii pesa tunatamani kuwa na mingi zaidi kila mtu, because that is our major, like everybody is after money, like of course, and saizi kila kitu ni pesa. So money also belongs to God. So whatever money or property ama kazi, biashara ambayo uko nayo, it belongs to God. So we are just the caretakers. Ni kama vile saizi mtu umeandikwa kazi, umepatiwa gari kwa kampuni, allowance uko na gari umepatiwa, utakuwa unaendesha hiyo gari, ni ya kampuni, you are just a caretaker of it. Umepewa ukitake care. The same applies. If God gives you money, it's not your money. You don't say it's my money, it's God's money. So how do you manage that money? Kwa sababu ukijua ni ya Mungu ndio utajua vile utaitumia, na pia you have to at least rudishia Mungu shukrani kila wakati unapata pesa. I'm talking about this because right now watu ni end month. It's already here. Yesterday was 30th, today is 1st of October. Na watu wengi maybe mishahara ishaingia wenye wanafanya kazi, na pia kama unafuko na biashara maybe imesha kuingizia pesa. So that money you have to at least unashukuru Mungu, unarudisha shukrani. Do you people even, how some of you don't even tithe? Mtu ukishapata pesa ni hivyo. Hey, ni kama unachanganyikiwa. Whatever you've been wishing, hey, you wish inakuwa true because you've gotten the money. So remind yourself that the money is not yours. The money belongs to God. The Bible has said, the word of God has said in Psalms 24:1 that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, including what we have, everything we have. And most of the things we have, we've used money to gain whatever we have, most of them, like vile tu hata vile tu mtu smart, mwingine unavaa nguo, umenunua nguo umetumia pesa, uko na gari umetumia pesa, umejenga nyumba umetumia pesa, uko na biashara kununua stock ni pesa. So you learn to know that everything, every money, everything you have, every shilling is God's, not yours. So God owns everything. We are just the caretakers of whatever. We are just the managers. Sisi tuna take care of what God has given unto us. And that another point is point 2, budgeting is biblical. So managing money God's way. Our second point is budgeting is also biblical. How does that come about? The book of Luke 14:28. Luke 14:28. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost? Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you sit down and estimate the cost? So budgeting is simply planning ahead, or because without a plan uwezi utatumia tu pesa ipotee hivyo na uwezi hata account for. The Bible has said, suppose you want to build the same way, suppose you want to buy something. Won't you sit down and budget for it? Uwezi tu amuka unasema ati I have 100,000 and unaenda I want to buy something, maybe hata imepita hiyo, it is more than that 100,000. So it seems you've not budgeted for it. So you sit down first and budget. Hiyo mshahara umepata, kaa chini, budget simply una plan. If you are renting, put aside money for rent, put aside money for tithe, put aside ama charity kwa wale, not everybody gives tithe. So if you're not giving tithe, you give to charity. Ile pesa weka aside the percentage, weka another percentage on rent if you're renting, weka another percentage on savings, weka another percentage on emergencies. Plan your money, because usikuwa mtu wa thrift shop yani unapita tu na kila kitu, ukiona kiatu mzuri unanunua, ukiona nguo mzuri unanunua, and you did not budget for it. By the time you sit down unaona hata mwezi imefika katikati, you do not have anything. You are there struggling, and yet you are the one who misused money. Money just disappears like that. Na pesa kama hizo zenye unanunua thrift shop tunashinda tu umeenda tu kinunua vitu, umenunua bila kubudget. Ama wengine ni kukula. Some people just love eating. Like tukwe tu na some limit with things. You budget. Chakula usikule kila chakula. Bible inasema food is for the stomach and stomach is for food, and God will destroy both of them. So ukikapo unafikiria tu ukipata pesa hivi, mimi hapo pizza, mimi hapo chipo kuku, kila wiki unakula take away. The next 2 weeks we are there struggling, ujua tutakula nini kwa nyumba. Tusikwe watu kama, let's budget, put down your budget, plan, because the Bible has said that budgeting is biblical. That is our second point. So write down your budget every now and then, hata before mwezi ifike mwisho, write down your budget. Na tukue na discipline, because you can still write a budget and yet you do not have a discipline, you don't follow it. Like, imagine hii pesa nimeweka emergency, wacha tu nitumie kwanza, nitajua vile ndarudisha. If at all you did not budget for that money and you just use it, there's no way you will return there. Utastruggle kurudisha hiyo pesa hapo. Utajipata tu bado emergency imekuja, and the way the emergencies are very bad. The moment you don't have anything is when you see that umeanza kupata emergency. So let's learn how to budget. So budgeting is biblical, and that is from the book of Luke 14:28. Our third point is avoid debt traps. Avoid debt traps. And that is from the book of Proverbs 22:7. Proverbs 22:7 says, the borrower is a servant to the lender. The borrower is a servant to the lender. Avoid debt traps. Enyata tu ukikaa tu kujue tu pesa yenye umekopa inakupatianga stress. It gives you stress, it destroys you. If you don't have your deadline imefika, unafaa kulipa hiyo pesa, hauna hiyo pesa, umetumia kufanyia kitu kingine, you have stress, hauna peace. then it just controls your decision. Because we have said in point 2, we budget, we learn how to budget. Umechukua loan, ndio hiyo wewe una peace kwa sababu. And also we know kuna bad debts and good debts. Yes, kuna bad debts and good debts. So the bad debts are the debts that zina could drain wewe emotionally, physically and also hiyo financially. Utakuta mtu ameenda amechukua simu ya 50,000. Na labda ako ile kazi ameandikwa kazi anapata 20,000 or say just that. You have a balance of 20,000 kujazilia, assuming you get 30,000. Na umeenda kuchukua simu ya 50,000. When will you ever finish paying this 50,000? You'll be having stress every now and then. Mshahara inaingia, unashindwa whatever you budgeted for versus the debt you have. That is a very bad debt. Ukichukua kitu more than what you're earning or more than what you can afford, that is a very bad debt, because it will not even give you peace. It destroys your peace. It controls your decision, because now you'll have to say, if that nimepata, you first decide to pay. If you pay that amount, balance in a bucket 20, and then you have not paid your rent, you have not bought your upkeep for that month. So you see, those are bad debts. And then good debts. Good debts are debts that they pay off in future. Like unachukua loan ndo usome. Umesoma maybe kama loan za HELB, watu walichukua wengi, watu wakasoma. And most of them unakuta mtu ameingia amepomaliza shule na amepata kazi. You start paying off your loan. You see, but don't borrow ama unachukua loan unaanzisha biashara. You start a business, of course that business it brings income. So you offset your loan as the business continues to grow. You see, that is a good debt. But ukienda kuchukua simu ya 50 ama unachukua ati unanunua gari, the car you'll be driving, the car needs fuel. So you see, that is a very bad debt, because you will also need money to sustain that car with fuel, and you do not have. Na maybe ulichukua gari ya pesa mingi ya luxury car, utishie tu watu huku nje. But make sure you take loans, try to take the good ones with a purpose, that knowing that ukianzisha biashara, it's a good one. When you take to take your children to school, it's a good one. But for others, this is zingine for luxury. No, it's not a good debt. So avoid debt traps. As the word has said, the borrower is a servant to the lender. And our fourth point, the power of saving and investing. The little money you have, as we have said, una budget. Kama wewe ni mtu unalipa rent, weka percentage yako ya rent. Assuming you are earning to say 30,000 or 20%, so for that you say 10% umesema ni tithe, ama kama utoangi tithe unapeana kwa charity. So you do charity, you put 10%, so that is 3,000. Kwa wale pia wana save, you do savings, that is another 10%. You pay your rent, you buy your own food stuff, ama upkeeps. The balance ni for other needs, na kuna pia ama emergency. So kuna savings, na kuna emergency, na kuna hizo zile important sana. 10% is for charity or tithe for those who give tithe, and then kuna savings at 10% of what you're earning, and others sasa hii ndio unakuja kuweka kwa emergency, in case of anything, whatever you did not plan, in case unafeel tu unatumia hiyo pesa, because you'll be on the safer side, because utakuwa na savings umeziweka hapo. Na of course when those people give tithe or those people give charity, hakuna vile unaweza peana na Mungu anakuacha hivyo bure. So the power of saving and investing. Proverbs 21:20 says, The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. So savings, that is on the point of the power of saving and investing. Saving prepares you for emergencies and future goals. Investing helps your money grow. Of course, unaekelea mali, unajua inaleta interest with time. So assuming you are a person who saves like 100 bob, kila tu mwezi unaekelea 100 bob, it's not as much that sana. 100 shillings unaekelea tu kwa savings, unaeka tu kwa saving, una save tu mahali, uhitaji kuiguza at any point, unaekelea tu hapo. If you calculate a whole year, umesave 100 bob, utajipata uko na 36,500 at the end of the year. That's a lot of money. Yani pesa yenye mtu anaweza fanyia kitu. Hata biashara, mtu anaweza anzisha biashara. People start businesses as low as 5,000, others 10,000, hata mwingine 20. So that 36,500 is a lot of money. So you can start a business. So you can imagine if you just save that 100. So if the power of investing and saving, you can invest. Una invest kwa machama, lakini chama zile ziko ukoshua. Unajua kuna zingine watu wanatengeneza pesa na pesa wenyewe. So chamas, you can save your money on chamas, invest, so you can invest on chamas or buy treasury bonds. Una invest mahali, unanunua shares. That is saving, that is investing. So saving, tumesema example, unaweza save your 100 bob or 200 and you don't touch that money, unaekeleanga tu hiyo. Kila mwezi unaeka tu mahali hiyo 100, una save tu mahali. You will find yourself ume accumulate a lot of money at the end of the year, and you something that you can use that money to save, to buy something, or at least start a business. So consistency also and discipline is required there. When it comes to saving and investing is a discipline. So money requires a lot of discipline. When it comes to money, either saving na nini, it requires a lot of discipline. Unasema hii mwezi nitasave, umekelea pesa umesave. Then hata mwezi jaisha umesikia umemaliza pesa, unakumbuka niko na pesa mahali, unaenda una withdraw tena yote. So it requires a discipline. Okay, another point, the fifth point and the last point is generosity opens doors. Generosity opens doors. That is 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 6. It says, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Generosity opens doors. Giving does not reduce you, does not reduce whatever you have. Eventually it will multiply. Mungu mwenyewe alikuja akapatia watu 5,000 people 5 loaves of bread, ili multiply tu kimiujiza. The same applies to us. So we give and it multiplies. You give people, as I've said there, kuna watu kama you don't give, you don't do tithing. Second point I said about budgeting. So budgeting, you save, you give tithe or charity. So generosity open doors. Supporting the needy, patiana mali unaona, usaidia mtu unaona, hata neighbor hapo most of the time. Don't pour food kama wewe ni mtu mwenye unaonanga ati sisi mnapika chakula mnabakisha, alafu unasema we don't repeat eating the same food tomorrow. We cannot eat the same food that we ate yesterday. Unachukua hiyo unamwaga kwa dustbin, unasahau unamwaga huko nje. No, if you cannot eat that food again, save, wake up, just prepare it, save. Ukitoka tu kuinje, uwezi kosa mtu kuinje anataka chakula kukula, ama mtu tu kuinje, street people ama children ama tu watu wazee huku kwa streets, uwezi kosa mtu anataka kukula. Not everybody is privileged. So give. Generosity opens doors. Na tumesoma kwa 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 6 that whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, whoever gives generously will also reap generously. So those are the 5 points on how we manage money God's way. Those are the 5 points that we manage money God's way. We said the first point is God owes everything. We are the managers, and also budgeting is biblical. And number 3, avoid debt traps. Hiyo kwanza ndio inasumbua watu wengi, so avoid debt traps. The 4th point is the power of saving and investing. That is a very powerful point. You should take note of that. Generosity opens doors. That's our 5th point. So those are the 5th points that we can manage money God's way, and the practical steps that you can follow to manage money God's way. You write a monthly budget, as I've said, and also cut unnecessary expenses. Wacha buy, usikue impulse buyer. Huyu unapita tu na kila kitu unaona inakufurahisha macho. No, cut unnecessary expenses. And the 3rd one, build an emergency fund, at least 3 months. Wewe kapesa vile tumesema, make sure you have an emergency. Uwezi jua shida inatokeanga wakati gani. Apart from savings 10% of what you earn, make sure you also have an emergency fund. And number 4, avoid borrowing for luxury. Hiyo ndo tunasema mambo ya debt traps. Avoid borrowing for luxury. Chukua debts zile muhimu, kama tumesema kusoma, kama tumesema kuchukua loan uanzisha biashara. So avoid borrowing for luxury. Number 5, give faithfully. Tithe, charity, ama helping others. Give faithfully. That is the 5th point. That is the 5th step. And then look for small investments that fit your level of income. That is the 6th step. So you have said, write a monthly budget. That's the first step you should take. And then cut unnecessary expenses, build an emergency fund, avoid borrowing for luxury, give faithfully, look for investment that fit your income, level of income. So thank you so much. As we end our topic for today, just write down, journal, be journaling whatever you learn, whatever you want from God, or whatever you want to do next. So I hope wale mnani watch, wale mmesikia, managing God's money God's way. Even if it's not God's way, just how to manage your money. Because as we started our show, I told you that many people are struggling, not because they are not earning, but because they do not know how to handle the money they are earning, whatever they have. And the Lord has said, the little you have, you have to be a disciplined person. The little you have, you should know how to manage the little you have, that so that God can also entrust you with the much that you wish to have. So as we wind up our show for today, make sure umekuwa mtu wa kuangalia finances zako. I hope you have learned something. So put down, go journal. Just tell God, help me today to manage my money the way you want me to manage myself and my money. And also put down a budget. Tumesema ni mwisho wa mwezi, so ukipata pesa hivi, make sure you do a budget for yourself. And make sure, first of all, usisahau kutoa tithe, usisahau kupeana kwa charity kwa wale watoi tithe, na pia usisahau kuweka emergency fund. And also, don't forget about God in all this. So for today, that is our word for today, and that is the topic for today, managing God's money God's way. I hope you've learned something. Also, those who have not tuned in, make sure share content kwao, na pia wale ambao wametujoin, Mungu awabariki sana. I've seen we have new fans today. Welcome to Heavenly Family. God bless you for tuning in, na Mungu awabariki zaidi na kila kitu unafanya, na hiyo pesa ambayo unapata, Mungu akusaidie uweze kumanage vile anataka na vile pia itakusaidia wewe. Thank you so much, even the team behind the scenes, for making this show a success. Thank you so much Aizo, alikuwa pale graphics. Thank you so much John ambaye amekuwa director, pamoja na Anto Bazu. Thank you so much guys. Na pia Devi kwa kuniframe leo, camera person. Thank you so much. God bless you guys, na pia Mungu abariki the entire Mwangaza fraternity. Until tomorrow or next week, Shalom. Aha! Wapi